Good morning and welcome. The big breaking news coming in at this hour. Captain Sunil James, who was in a Togo jail since July, has now been released. The Foreign Ministry spokesperson a short while ago confirmed on Twitter that two sailors from India, Captain Sunil James and Vijayan, are free and will leave for home later today. Captain James and two other sailors had been languishing in a jail in Togo since July this year on charges of aiding pirates who had attacked and looted their ship, the MT Ocean Centurion. On December 2nd, the captain's 11-month-old son, Vivan, had died of gangrene and septicemia in Mumbai. The baby's body has been kept in a morgue, with the family hoping that his father can see him one last time before the funeral. Captain James can now attend his son's funeral. Captain James' family had met with Prime Minister Manmohan Singh in Delhi with an appeal to bring him back. Indian officials were pursuing this case in Togo without luck so far. Well, Tejas joins us on the phone line for more. Tejas, you had been in touch with the family. They were extremely upset, of course, that more wasn't being done for Sunil James' release. Have you managed to speak to anyone yet?
Well, not immediately. Mr. Rakesh Madappa, who is the brother-in-law of Captain Sunil James, his phone is currently switched off. But I spoke to him yesterday, and he was telling me that there was a call from the PMO, which had come just last night itself. And at that point of time, they had told that Indian officials were in touch with the President of India, the President of Togo, and the President of Togo was aware of the entire case, and they would, they have pleaded for, urgent release of Captain Sunil James, given the fact that they still have to complete the final rites of 11-month-old Vivan. And therefore, this must be a really very, very trying moment for the entire family. Mind you, the entire, trauma for them began in July when Captain Sunil James and two others were arrested by the Togolese police because they were suspected of being part of, a gang of pirates which had attacked their own ship. So they had actually gone ahead to Lomé, the capital of Togo, and complained to the Togolese, police that there was an attack on them by pirates, but the police instead arrested them, saying that they were part of the larger gang. And therefore, since July, he has been incarcerated in Togo itself. Now, India did not have a mission there, and therefore, our officials from Ghana used to go down to Togo. But the family has been repeatedly complaining that until and unless 11-month-old Vivan died in September out of septicemia and gangrene in the stomach, the government really did nothing. All their pleas were not heard by the government, and only the death of an 11-month-old baby, shook and woke up the government. Only after that officials were really sent from Ghana to Lomé, the capital of Togo itself. So now, what has really happened in all likelihood is that on humanitarian grounds, they've at least pleaded 5 to 6 times in the last 5-6 months for him to be released. But now, given the fact that they have been pleading with the Togolese court that his son has to the final rites have to be completed, he wants to see him one last time, they could have been released earlier. But they also were, talks with the government that with the Togolese court and the government that to complete the trial as soon as possible, because the families have and the employers of Captain James and the other sailors have been maintaining that they are not the pirates. They are the ones who complained to the Togolese authorities that pirates had attacked them. So they could have also completed the entire, legal procedures, and therefore they're returning to India. That, of course, has to be really, once again clarified with the Ministry of External Affairs if they've been let off on humanitarian grounds, or the whole entire release is now completely over. So they will be, of course, coming to India very soon, because it's now already on December 2nd, 11-month-old Vivan died, and his body is being kept inside a morgue in Mumbai. So it's already nearly 18 days. So they would be, completing those rituals as soon as possible. But the family, it'd be a huge sigh of relief, because his wife, Aditi, too, Captain James, was thinking actually of going down all the way to Togo. She's saying that what can I do now? I've gone to the Prime Minister, I've gone to authorities all over the country. Nobody has been able to get him back. But finally, pressure on Togo seems to have worked, and of course the consideration on the humanitarian grounds of the situation of Captain James's family. His brother-in-law Rakesh Madappa had also gone down all the way to Togo, because he said that there was no help coming forth from the Ministry of External Affairs. They were only giving him assurances, and finally he went down there, and it was extremely difficult because he said it's a dangerous country. He doesn't speak the language there, and the help coming forth from the authorities was absolutely minimal at that point of time. But now the entire trauma, at least as far as Sunil James's return is concerned, is at least temporarily perhaps over for the family. He will be back after being arrested along with two others who were picked up by the Togolese authorities in July 2013 on charges actually of going ahead and being part of a gang of pirates who had attacked their own ship in 2013. Gargi?
Right, Tejas, so some great news coming in with the release of Captain James. Tejas, also this news till yesterday, there was of course all the outrage over the treatment of an Indian diplomat, Khobragade, and many were questioning why there wasn't more outrage, why the Ministry of External Affairs wasn't doing as much to free Captain James as they were doing in a case of their own diplomat being mistreated in the US.
Well, absolutely. I mean, these comparisons are obvious. Even the family of Captain Sunil James was making them. And they do understand that she's a diplomat. This is against the United States of America. And Captain Sunil James is, an ordinary Indian. Now, though the government of India will keep insisting that, they are all equal, the fact of the matter lies that, there are often, there of course is a difference between a diplomat's release and the treatment of a diplomat compared to a common man. Also, the major difference between the two cases would be that this happened in the United States, with a country with whom we have, relations over a very long time, improving relations rather. They have enough, assets and interests in India. Togo is a completely different ballgame, given the fact that we don't even have a mission there. The closest one is in Ghana, in Accra. So there is no representation there. The Togolese interests in India are also minimal. So to put leverage against the Togolese government, it becomes extremely difficult. Something, of course, which, concerned families will not really grasp immediately. But the problem, of course, in this particular case lies not with, negotiating with the Togolese government, but the lack of, any initiation for months together. What they have been saying is that he was arrested in July, and 11-month-old Vivan died only in December.
All right, Tejas, sorry to interrupt you there. We're also joined by Mr. Saeed Akbaruddin there on the phone line, the MA spokesperson. Thank you, sir, for speaking to NDTV. If you could tell us the circumstances leading up to this release, and congratulations.
Well, Gargi, all of us need to be thankful for what was the news that percolated out of Togo last night. This followed the meeting between India's High Commissioner in Accra, Mr. Jiva Sagar, and the President of Togo, following which I can confirm to you that Captain Sunil James, as well as Mr. Vijayan, another Indian sailor, have been released. They are currently with the Indian High Commissioner, Mr. Jiva Sagar. We are making plans for their return to India later during the day, and we hope that they will rejoin their families latest by early tomorrow.
Right, sir. And does this mean the entire case against Captain James has been dropped there in Togo?
Gargi, it is best that they confirm these news to you. All I can say is home is always permanent for Indians. So beyond that, please wait for Captain Sunil James to come and share the joy with them, his family.
Right, Mr. Akbaruddin, also, what were the challenges you faced in trying to secure this release? We don't have a mission in Togo.
Correct. Gargi, this was an extremely difficult and complicated task which we have stuck through, despite many of you thinking that we haven't done enough. Let me assure you, we've been following and pursuing this case right from August. We have an honorary consul there who's done a stupendous job. He worked with a variety of ministers there. We had repeatedly senior officials from Accra traveling to Togo, Lomé, because for us it is important that we pursue the interests of every Indian national. Despite the difficulties, finally, the President was able to meet our High Commissioner yesterday. This is a new High Commissioner who just presented his credentials over this week. And finally, following the intervention of the President, we have this good news that we can share with all our countrymen.
Right, sir. So there's also been little criticism about the fact that the Captain James' son Vivan died. It was only then that the ministry was spurred into action.
Gargi, this is not the time for recrimination. I have just talked to Mrs. Aditi James and informed her about this. Let me assure you, we've pursued it to the best of our abilities. We've continuously pursued it over 6 months. These are legal issues and judicial issues, and we had to work through them. Please understand, no effort was spared by the Government of India to ensure their release. And today we have this happy news. And let us now await for the return of the two sailors so that they can meet their families and stay in their permanent abode, India. Thank you very much.